Hi, this is the Year 12 Parents Futures Information Evening with myself, Kate Mounsey, Director of Sixth Form. Katrina Clark is the Performance Director for Year 12 into Year 13. And we also have slides about apprenticeships from Viv Boost, who's our Sixth Form Learning Mentor in charge of supporting apprenticeships. Hopefully the information here will be really useful to you. Sorry we can't meet in person, but we hope to meet with Year 13 parents early in September for an additional information evening where we can go through some of the key points again.
So our aims are to help you as parents and carers to understand the application process and the key dates for UCAS and apprenticeships so that you know the timeline that we're working towards. We also want you to understand the preparation that we've completed so far this year so that you know what the students have already completed, and then to understand the next steps as we go forward. You can pause this presentation at any point to read over any of the points in more detail. So first of all, UCAS is the platform that we use to look into universities and apprenticeships, and students have to apply through this platform. So we encourage all of our students to register with UCAS, even those who think they do not want to apply to university, because they can change their mind, and it's easier for them to start by being on the UCAS rather than catching up at a later point. So we have started applications already, so it's under Apply 2022, and all students in the year group have already started this process with us in school. There is a video link here which you will be able to access alongside this video, which gives you an overview of this application process. There is also a link here which is ucas.com/parents, which will give you a lot more information for you. So what are our Sandringham deadlines? So first of all, our first deadline is Friday the 1st of October, and that's for anyone that is interested in applying to Oxbridge or for medicine or for veterinary science, because that deadline is earlier than all other applications. We then also have another internal deadline, which is Thursday the 21st of October, which is for all other applications. Now, once students have paid and sent the application, it comes to us to add the reference, then the predicted grades, and then we send it off to UCAS. However, the majority are sent back to amend errors, so please do make sure that your young person has spelt things correctly and has taken the time to carefully look through their application to make sure that it is perfect. So a few key facts for applying to UCAS. First of all, it's helpful to know some terminology. So students will register with UCAS via something called the Hub. They do have a username and password to apply online, and they have already set this up. So for university applications, they can have up to 5 choices. They can have less if they want, but we would strongly recommend to go for 5. However, if you are studying medicine, veterinary science, or medicine or dentistry, then there are 4 choices. But you can put a 5th one if it is not specifically one of those highlighted. Students cannot apply to both Oxford and Cambridge, so they will need to make a decision there of which campus and university they prefer. The application process costs £22 if they are only applying to one choice, or it is £26.50 for 5 choices. So the majority of our students will be paying that £26.50. Universities can't see any of the other choices when you apply. So for example, if you apply to Nottingham Trent, they won't know that you've also applied to Manchester, for example. Once they've gone through the application process, students will then choose a first choice university and an insurance choice. Now, their first choice will normally be aspirational, so maybe a higher grade, and their insurance choice might be maybe a lower grade as a backup opportunity. And just a reminder here that actually when you are paying for the application, you will pay at the end once everything is in. So universities will make offers in 2 ways. They will give either subject-specific grades, so for example, AAA or ABB, or you might see this presented via tariff points, for example, 120 points, which is equivalent to BBB. So if you look at the table here on your right, you will see the equivalent of A-level qualifications, so A star, A, B, C, D, E, And on the furthest right column, you will see the BTEC equivalents. So distinction star, distinction, merit, and pass. So you can read across there and see the tariff points which are there for you. So the BTEC qualifications do also carry equivalent points there. The AS points don't count if they continue with the A level. So for example, if you have done further mathematics as an AS and you've finished this year, so you've only done it as an AS, then those points will count. However, if you continue with further maths and complete it to A level, you will just get the final A level points. So choosing the right university for you. Now here we've got a list of 7 different things that we recommend the students think about when it comes to making that choice. So thinking about the style of the university, the location, do they want to be further away from home or do they want to be closer to home? Do they want to be in a small town or a large town? What's going to most suit them? It is important to think about the size of universities because some larger ones do have more than 20,000 students, whereas some of the smallest ones only have a few thousand. So it's really important that you think what's going to suit them. Important to think about the culture and the facilities that are available. So if you're interested in sport, music and drama, do look into what the university are known for and can provide. Think about what the graduates do, okay? So all universities do collect destination statistics, so it's interesting to see where their graduates are taken. And do look into the tuition fees and living costs. As I said, you can pause this presentation if need be. So choosing the right course for the individual student. It's really important that they look into what the course covers, okay? And they can look at that through the UCAS website or the university website itself. Some courses with the same title can be very different, so it's very important to look at what's covered in each year, so year 1, 2, 3 and sometimes 4 if they have a placement year. So it is important to see what's covered in those to make sure it's specific to what the student wants to do. Do look carefully at the course, core course content and the range of optional studies and modules. And think about which modules are the most interesting and relevant to the career aspiration of the individual. Do see if there's any internship or placements or study abroad opportunities, because that can help influence which course you might do. And look at how the course is taught. So is it through structured teaching, or is it more independent with group work and research, etc.? And look into how the course is assessed.
So this is a note about predicted grades. Universities do make offers based on the predictions, although they're not the be-all and end-all, and they know that we are in a difficult position trying to predict grades. We will issue those to students in around mid-September. Now, the threshold exam grades will be very important, but we'll use other data throughout the year and our knowledge of the students. We know them really well, and we know sort of the path that they're on. They should be aspirational but achievable, and they will be based on the data we've got on those students. We don't fit them to the offers that they want to get. And just a note to say that they do look at GCSE grades in closer attention sometimes because they are factual, whereas predictions are obviously quite tenuous. We will issue a lot more detail on predicted grades in September and at the Year 13 Parents Information Evening then. Oxbridge applications do have an earlier deadline, and in UCAS terms, that's the 15th of October for us to have sent it with the reference. So our internal deadline is the 1st, and we'll be working very intensively with those students, as we will with the medics, vets, dentistry. There are tests now for nearly every course, and they run usually in the first week of November. Offers will be in the region of A star, 2As or higher. So we would need to see that potential really in the threshold exams or through the performance in year 12. So here's the overview of the timeline for applying to university. We've already gone through the first stages. We're continuing now with personal statements when the students come back from threshold exams, and we will be giving details of how to opt for referees, etc. We would like the first draft of their personal statement by the 9th of September. We've given a lot of guidance on that, and there's lots on the UCAS website. And the internal deadline, as we've said, is the 21st of October recommended. So Students should continue to research very carefully what type of university they want to go to, and which course they'd like to do. I would also look at the destinations from those courses and universities. They are usually available now on those websites. Have a look at the sorts of options available after that course, because they can vary quite widely. As we've said, complete details, GCSE results should be done by now, really. Visit universities, even if they're not open. You can visit the campuses, the cities, and we would encourage that. Think about what it would be like to live there. Adjust choices following exam results. Think carefully about the offers that they could be made or that they would have to meet in reality with their results. And we will have a whole day in September on our ELD day to finalise those applications or to get a really long way ahead with them. Just a note on references. Subject teachers will write small subject references, which we then collate to make an overall reference. So all subjects will be represented. Those teachers know the students well. The overall referee that the student has chosen will write the reference in the autumn term. Once the student completes their application and it says sent, they have to pay with a card. It comes through to us as the sixth form. It does not go to UCAS. So we will make sure the reference is completely fine and polished off, and only then will we send the application off to UCAS. 3 words you might hear, again, worth looking at the UCAS website. There's an extra option, so following the completion of the on-time applications in January, if a student hasn't got any offers, they can apply for others. That's really rare here because we do keep an eye on what they're applying for. In the summer, after results in year 13, there's something called adjustment. So if a student's done better than expected or would like to apply for a more competitive course, they can now opt to change. And of course, clearing, which isn't negative, it can be really helpful. And some students actually decide in the end not to go for any of the offers they've received and to enter clearing because they've changed their mind or would like more variability on their choice. And there's some excellent courses in there, including lots of Russell Group universities. So it's definitely worth considering that if it is necessary. Some courses always have interviews, so any sort of teaching course, healthcare course, and of course Oxbridge, medicine. So students will need to be prepared for that. We should know that that's happening, but they should also tell their tutor or the sixth form team so we don't miss that they need to do that, because we will prepare them for it, but we will need to know. Just so you know, universities don't see the other choices. They only get sent the UCAS form individually without the other choices on it. And we do receive unconditional offers. They've become more common. However, I think they're disappearing slightly again after a lot of backlash about this. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. It can be a problem because students think, oh, I'll go for that one because I only have to get past some A-levels or in fact hardly anything at all, but it might not be the right choice for them. Or it might be, which is great, but we just need to really consider that to think about what they really want and not take just the easiest option. So how can you help as parents? Helping students to choose those right courses, look at employment data, look at where it's heading, as well as the location, cost of living, etc. Persuade them to do some virtual open days. Obviously, they are not in person at the moment in most cases, which is a shame. But as I said, you can visit cities or university campuses usually, even if they're not fully open. Help them look over their personal statement if they let you. Bit of life skills for next year is always good. Budgeting, we will do a bit of that in our personal development lessons. If they haven't yet entered their GCSEs on their application form, that should be done by now. So please encourage them to do that. They will need their certificates. Think about bursaries and other awards. We'll come back to that in the finance presentation. And support extra or super curricular activities. They should have been doing this already. We've been very vocal about this all year. But if the personal statement is looking quite thin, and they don't have much to say aside from their A-levels, that can be a problem. So they may need to pick things up over the summer, watch some webinars, read some articles. Doesn't need a lot, just something a bit extra to their A-levels. Okay, so that's the university process, but we wanted to also explain the apprenticeships and employment pathway, which is absolutely equally as valid and can be an excellent option for students. And we are seeing more and more students looking into apprenticeships now in particular. They offer a different route through to employment. obviously no debt, and can often offer a degree course at the same time, depending on the level that is involved. So we've done quite a lot of activities here at school. Some have been compulsory and some are optional if students want to look at apprenticeship. So they've all had an apprenticeship talk with our amazing apprenticeships advisor and have understood what an apprenticeship is. And then those that are interested have opted into sessions, and we are running a session on the 1st of July when students are back in school for anyone interested, which will be a key event to prepare them further for that application. The autumn, particularly September, October, is a key time. So we will be looking at how to find applications for that year. Some of them do come out in September, October, others perhaps more February, March. We will run mock interviews with employers for those students, which have a lot of feedback. They're quite extensive. We do a mock assessment workshop, and then we have one-to-one support ongoing with our Hearts advisor Nikki Honeywell, but also with Miss Boost, who's based in the sixth form all the time. And in particular, all day Thursday, she is employed for this very reason, for apprenticeship support. So we've invested a lot in this because we think it's really important, and those applications do take a lot of work and support. And we've had some great results this year with some really high-level apprenticeships with a few students. The timetable is here. You can pause that and take a look just so you see what's going on. And there's a huge range of apprenticeships now in almost every area. So you'd be surprised, it's not just the engineering or the science or the business. Within the business area, there's loads of different types. There's obviously the creative digital in this area as well, healthcare services, even law. So we really do encourage students to have a look. Unifrog is again an excellent place to look, and there's some other resources that we've given them, and to really think about whether this might be an option. They can apply for apprenticeships alongside university. They don't have to do one or the other, but it will take quite a lot of time. So it's just thinking through whether they wish to look at one or the other or both routes still. And those applications will be looking for skills, perhaps more than the academic reading of the university applications. So any work experience they've got would be crucial. It doesn't matter what it's in, it can be something quite different to what they're applying for. Activities at school like Young Enterprise are excellent, or having a leadership position at school, just anything really. And outside of school, their part-time job. Little things can often actually, when you really think about it, have developed some really key skills in young adults. So we'll be looking at them to exemplify these with actual examples. I think I've gone through this already. We also issue careers bulletins and newsletters with lots of opportunities on for work experience and apprenticeships. We do send those out and make it very clear to the students when they've been issued, and they're available in our Google Classrooms. And as I said, Unifrog is excellent. So we do need to know with the students if they're applying for an apprenticeship. Basically, it's just a two-way communication. If we know about what they're thinking, if they can present themselves to Miss Boost, then we'll have them on our list and we will monitor them and help them and meet with them. We've got a toolkit in our website area, which we're constantly updating. And there are some webinars running. There's a student one very shortly, and also a parent webinar on the 5th of July, if you'd like to know about Hertfordshire apprenticeships and how to access those or apply for them. So they could be potentially useful if your son or daughter would like to think about apprenticeships. We do have an FAQ document which we'll provide the link to you for, and that hopefully answers quite a lot of different queries on the UCAS and apprenticeship process. We'll also send out a link for a Google form for you to ask any questions that are individual to you and your son or daughter, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And hopefully you're a bit more informed about the process and how we operate here at Sandringham. But we'll also hope to see you in person in September, restrictions allowing, for our Year 13 information evening, where we can discuss more in person then. Thank you.